I remember ever since that day, I was like, wow, this is really happening. I'm becoming one of the top players in the country. I'm getting all the offers I've always been dreamed about.
Isaiah Bond, touchdown!
Former Longhorn Isaiah Bond turned himself into Frisco police less than 2 weeks before the NFL draft. There was a warrant for his arrest on sexual assault, and we should warn you, WFAA just obtained new documents that contain some disturbing details.
Isaiah Bond's name was supposed to echo through stadiums for his speed and playmaking, not for headlines dripping with scandal. But everything changed on a night in Texas when a young woman came forward with allegations that would detonate his career before it had even truly begun. The woman, whose identity was kept under wraps by the court, claimed that Bond had assaulted her after a night out. It wasn't a quiet accusation whispered in the dark. It was a full-blown legal case that ripped its way into the sports world like wildfire. According to filings, the alleged incident took place off campus after a gathering where alcohol was present. The timeline was clear. She says she trusted him. Then the night turned into something far darker. Was she connected to the athletic circle? Was she a student looking for justice? The details were murky, and that's exactly what fueled the drama. Social media exploded with speculation, with unverified rumors swirling that she might have even been pregnant, or that she had been pressured to keep parts of her story hidden. None of it could be confirmed, but the whispers wouldn't stop. In today's media age, perception is reality, and perception was brutal. What's undeniable is how fast the story spread. One moment, Bond was a promising wide receiver at Texas. The next, he was the face of a sexual assault case that threatened to erase his future. Every sports show, every podcast, every thread on Twitter turned into a debate. Was he guilty? Was she telling the truth? Or was this yet another clash of power, money, and football politics, drowning out a woman's voice? Bond himself stayed mostly silent at first, speaking only through his attorney. The defense painted the case as weak, saying there was no physical evidence, no clear witnesses, and that the accusation was built on inconsistencies. Behind the courtroom doors, the grand jury reviewed the evidence, and in the end, prosecutors dropped the case, issuing what's called a no bill, meaning Bond would not face charges. But silence doesn't clear a man's name, not in the court of public opinion. Critics saw it as another example of an athlete shielded by his status. Fans who wanted to believe in him were relieved, but others asked the same question. If the woman wasn't lying, then why wasn't her voice enough? Was the truth buried beneath legal jargon and backroom negotiations? The moment the decision dropped, reporters scrambled for Bond's comment. His official statement was polished and calculated. "I'm grateful for this opportunity to move forward and focus on football." Not a word about the woman, not a word about the night in question, just a carefully crafted pivot away from the storm. That silence felt louder than anything he could have said. And then, almost as if scripted for maximum shock value, Bond revealed that he was signing with the Cleveland Browns. No pause, no reflection, no grace period. He walked out of a courtroom and straight into an NFL deal. To critics, it felt like a slap in the face. To his supporters, it was a triumphant comeback. But no one could deny the timing was jarring. The scandal wasn't erased by the legal outcome. If anything, it only deepened the mystery. Who exactly was this woman, and what pushed her to come forward? Was she silenced, pressured, or simply dismissed by a system that's historically struggled to prosecute cases involving powerful athletes? And what role did the Browns, a team with its own controversial past, play in rushing to scoop up a player with baggage this heavy? Isaiah Bond's story wasn't just a courtroom win. It was a collision of silence, suspicion, and strategy. A dark secret that seemed less resolved than buried, waiting to explode again under the blinding lights of the NFL. The Cleveland Browns didn't just sign Isaiah Bond, they ignited a conspiracy that still has fans and critics whispering about what really happened behind closed doors. Think about the timing. One day he's cleared in a sexual assault case, The very next, he's announced as the Browns' newest weapon. That's not coincidence, that's choreography. The Browns knew exactly what they were doing. This is a franchise already stained by scandal, from questionable draft picks to controversial contracts, and now they've doubled down. Signing Bond wasn't about football alone, it was about narrative control. It was about proving that in the NFL, if you're talented enough, the headlines don't matter. Scandal isn't an obstacle, it's a storyline. But the conspiracy runs deeper. Critics are asking, who pulled the strings to make sure Bond walked free just in time for the signing? How much influence does a billion-dollar league have over a courthouse in Texas? When a grand jury no-bills a case this explosive, the easy answer is lack of evidence. The darker answer? Power crushed it before it could grow. And then there's Bond's silence. He didn't speak about the woman, didn't show remorse, didn't even acknowledge the chaos swirling around his name. Instead, he flashed a smile, talked about being grateful, and slipped into the Browns' colors like nothing had happened. That silence isn't normal, it's strategy. It's the mark of lawyers, agents, and executives building a wall around him. This is where you, the viewer, come in. Because whether you see Bond as a redemption story or a cover-up wrapped in a contract, the NFL wants you distracted by touchdowns and jerseys. But the truth is darker. This isn't just about one player, it's about a system that protects its assets at all costs. And if you've made it this far, you know we don't sugarcoat the scandals the NFL hopes you forget. So smash that like button, drop a comment with your take, cover up or comeback, and subscribe for the stories that rattle the league's carefully polished image. Because Isaiah Bond's deal isn't just football, it's proof that scandal isn't a setback in the NFL. Sometimes it's the strategy. Isaiah Bond is no longer just a football player, he's a symbol of how power, scandal, and silence collide in the NFL. The courtroom might have closed the file, but the questions never stopped. Who was protected? Who was silenced? And why did the Browns rush to claim him before the dust even settled? Fans can argue stats, highlight reels, and touchdowns, but the truth is this: the NFL thrives on drama as much as it thrives on talent. Bond's signing is proof. They didn't wait for public trust. They didn't wait for clarity. They moved fast, betting that winning games will always outweigh moral outrage. And maybe, just maybe, they were right. Because every time Bond's name trends, every time his story sparks debate, the NFL stays in the headlines. Scandal is no longer something to bury, it's something to monetize. That's the darkest twist of all. But here's the part the league can't control. People don't forget. The whispers around Bond will follow him into every locker room, every interview, every stadium where fans are divided between cheers and boos. He can catch a touchdown, but can he escape the shadow of that night? Can he ever outrun the suspicion that his career was bought not with talent alone, but with silence, influence, and deals made in back rooms we'll never see? The Browns gambled, and the NFL looked the other way. But fans are not blind. Some see redemption, others see a cover-up. And that division will define Isaiah Bond's career more than any stat sheet ever could. So as the season begins, the question isn't whether Bond will perform, it's whether the truth will ever surface. Because scandals like these don't disappear. They resurface, they evolve, and they expose the cracks in a billion-dollar empire built on secrecy. Isaiah Bond walks into the NFL with a contract in his hand and a storm at his back. And whether he becomes a hero, a villain, or a headline that never dies, one thing is certain. His dark secret has already changed the game, and the league may never be able to hide from it.